Welcome to the Gear Garage Live Show. This weekly YouTube show covers whitewater rafting, river safety,
oh God, I lost my paddle,
gear, and anything else Zach feels like rambling on about.
Well, here we are again for another Gear Garage live show. And this one, there's just two comments about rescue vests. And there were some really good photos from a rescue that people sent after I made some comments last week. So we're mainly going to talk about that based on the questions I received. If you have questions as we go, please add those down in the comment section below. And before we do it, though, I want to talk about our online rowing school. I always like to promote something at the beginning of the show. And this is something a lot of you probably don't know that we have. I've created an online rowing school and an online foundations of rescue class. So this is a way, if you want some online training, you can get it. We've put a ton of time and effort and money into these courses that a lot of you probably don't know about. And a lot of people contact me for training, but don't have the time or the energy, or the dates don't match up. And there's nothing substitutes for real time on the oars, but there's a lot of basic information and training that we can share by video. So we've done the best we can. There's three things. There's a $400 course, $395 that has everything. It's just super complete. Here's a list of all of the classes we put together. A lot of these are multiple videos, lots of information, and I'm always updating these. So they're getting better, improved, more videos being added to them. And if you want to see the quality, there's previews, so you can just sort of see what they look like, see like what you're kind of potentially purchasing. But it's very complete. There's all, like I said, tons of lessons all the way up to like class 4 stuff and a little bit of what I would call class 5. And it's not class 5 had a boat class 5 as much as that. To me, class 5 skills are just a different, like higher level of skills. So there's a whole online course for rowing. There's a foundations of, let me go back ahead. There's basics of whitewater rowing. So if $395 seems like a lot of money, that makes sense because it's a lot of money. That's just how much it was very expensive to build. That's what we charge. There's a $95 one that has sort of the core stuff. You know, it goes through the class 2 stuff. And is that it? I feel like there's a little more to it. I guess that's it. It just goes through like the class 2 stuff. It's a good intro to rowing. I thought that maybe I'll add some class 3 stuff to it, but it's just the basics. It's the foundation. And then there's also what I call foundations of whitewater rescue. And this is a lot of the just basic stuff that you would learn in, like people would say in words. And so it's like, it's not the hands-on practice. You could do that. You can follow this stuff in hands-on practice, but it's a lot of stuff about safety, about equipment, about different knots you need to learn, the anchors you need to learn, different rescue techniques, flipping, throw bags, and the mechanical advantage. So it's a foundational course. It's $25. I made it as cheap as I could to get it to the most people possible. And that's the one I usually update the most. And it's something I'm really proud of. We put a lot of time and energy into this. Think of it almost as like Gear Garage, but everything's put in order. And a lot of Gear Garage episodes I do pretty quickly because I'm in a rush. You know, like I just need to bust one out. These weren't rushed. These we put a lot of time and energy into a lot of it. We put a lot of diagrams with it. And so these are higher quality than Gear Garage episodes. And they're put together in a nice order so you have everything you need in order. Like if you could find a lot of this stuff in Gear Garage, but the amount of searching you do would be large. So that's a quick plug for the online rowing school. Just want to share that with all of you. And let's get on to questions, which this week are really comments. Here's the first one about rescue harnesses. Zach, I agree with your thoughts that there's little use for the rescue harness, especially rafting. I'm a rafter where I rescue PFD and have swiftwater rescue training, but I wish I could remove the rescue harness. Do you think a lot of people on rivers are wearing them because of the other features that are only available on rescue PFDs, such as being built with more durable materials and a lot more functional pockets? This is why I tend to wear one, and I'm guessing I'm not the only one. It's too bad some of the qualities and design aren't carried over to other non-rescue PFDs. So this is in response to me sharing last week that I feel like the rescue harnesses on PFDs are maybe not that important for rafting. And for kayaking, I see value. For safety kayaking, I see value. For rafting, I just don't think it has that much value, and actually could maybe be a negative because it weighs down the PFD. It's a little bit of weight, but it still weighs down the PFD. And this commenter is basically, or this person asking the question is basically saying, unfortunately, the higher quality PFDs have the vests. So this is true. Let's go look at Astral really quick. This is a good example. The Astral Green Jacket, which is probably the one that like most people have. Oh man, are you kidding me? Why is this so hard? I have to hit the things that have cars just to see the green jacket. I wonder if this is my fault. Okay, here we go. That's Google's fault. So the green jacket, this one right here, is just the one. Oh, it opened up in a new tab. Let me move it over so everybody can see it. This one is just sort of like a classic PFD. And the green jacket has higher quality, more durable fabrics, has better zippers and better pockets. The pockets are the same, but the whole thing is durable compared to the blue jacket. So the blue jacket is the version of this. Let me see if I can find it here. Why is it so hard to find? Maybe I can just go here. So if I go to the blue jacket, YTV, let me find oh, they call it the Bowen now. Sorry, it used to be called the blue jacket. The Bowen, it's just thinner fabrics. And if you look at the pockets on the side, they're meshy. And if you put like, some people want to put pulleys in those pockets, which is your choice. The metally stuff can mess with the meshy fabric on the pockets, on the side pockets, versus the pockets on the green jacket, which are more of a Cordura. And it's just a lower quality PFD overall. So I like this PFD a lot. I have 2 of these actually. I love wearing it because it doesn't have all the extra jazz like the rescue harness that the green jacket has. What I would love is if they made the Bowen both high quality fabrics. That's what the person who's making the comment is saying. I think also it's the same with Stolquist. Let me see if we can look that up. Right now, my favorite PFD especially for kayaking is that Stolquist Descent. This is just a great PFD, high quality fabrics. It's a rescue PFD also, but they make one called the Rocker that doesn't have the rescue harness. And I don't know if you can tell here, it's just lower quality fabrics. And so I think the reason they do this is they want to have, I think it's lower quality fabrics. That looks like it is. This one definitely looks lower quality. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But a lot of times the non-rescue version, they just make kind of lower quality. I think their goal is to make a super high-end rescue harness that has all the nice stuff and then make more of an entry-level affordable version. They don't usually make, as the commenter is saying, like a high-quality fabric one without the rescue harness. And I don't know why they're not doing it, other than it's probably just like they have a high end and a low end and capture different markets the best you can. That's my guess. A lot of them, you can take the rescue harness off. And so you can buy the high quality one and then remove the rescue harness if you don't want it. And just to sort of finish this one up, I know my take here is maybe controversial that rafters don't need to wear rescue harnesses. I think that's maybe a wrong way to put it. I just think that most rafters don't need rescue harnesses. The vast majority of rafters that I know haven't really been trained on how to use them. And even if they have been, don't have the fitness or the ability to swim or the ability just to work in a whitewater environment to put them to use, right? You're like, they're a lot of times they're intended, like you attach yourself to a rope and you go swim after somebody. Well, I see a lot of people who I don't think have the fitness to be swimming in whitewater that much, right? Or you're going to walk in shallow water out somewhere to do something attached to one. Well, I see a lot of people wearing them that have no business walking in shallow water with a rope attached to them. So I think if I just take a wild guess, maybe like 10 to 20% of rafters have the fitness and the training to properly use these rescue harnesses. Where probably 70% of rafters are wearing them, right? And I think it's just too much gadgety stuff on our PFD that we don't need. It's just little things like that. I have one right here. Like this one's actually not bad, but a lot of times they have the ball in the front. That's just one more thing that's snag where you're trying to get back in the boat. You know, so where they put the little bally thing and the little buckle can get in the way. So my theory, and the thing I'm afraid to say publicly because people, are going to get upset with me that love rescue harnesses. I just think for the rafting side of the sport, they're just not as valuable as for kayakers potentially. And that's because rafters, we don't need usually to go swim out with ropes attached to us. We have rafts. We can just raft out there and do the thing. Right. So yeah, it's an opinion I have, and I think it's controversial, and it's based on just me rafting many years. I've private boated, I've guided, I've kayaked, I've seen a lot of rescues. The only time I've ever felt like we needed to have the rescue harness was mainly one time it was rafting. I have to admit, one time it was a couple times it was kayaking, and it's just super rare anyway. So it's just weird to me that we all have these harnesses. Anyway, hopefully that makes sense. It's kind of a long description. This person responded back to say, I just figured out the rescue harness on the Kokatat Maximus Centurion is removable. Did not realize this as they don't mention online, but the person I found there is a ladder lock buckle that allows it to be removed. What a great PFD. So I saw this comment. I brought out this is my Centurion Maximum right here. This Kokatat one. I've been wearing it a lot the past couple of weeks because I've been teaching in it. It's a great PFD if you want a lot of pockets. Like when I'm teaching courses, I need pockets. I'm carrying a radio. There's a radio in here. By the way, those of you that are thinking about getting a Rocky Talkie, which I have right here, the Rocky Talkies are so amazing. They're waterproof. They work well. It's hard to pull it out. Let me pull it out. These Rocky Talkies, I've used many walkie-talkies. Most of them are kind of annoying and useless. These Rocky Talkies are crazy useful. And there's this optional thing. So like you can see this, you can buy this thing where it clips on right here. I can just press this and talk on it. I don't have to pull the thing out and press the button. Like while I'm paddling, I can almost talk. So the Rocky Talkies are sweet. So if I have, when I'm teaching rowing schools, I have a Rocky Talkie, I have a flip line, I have a wrench to adjust frames, I have my knife, of course, and my phone's with me, so I can take photos and take notes, and I have all kinds of stuff. And so I really like this PFD for the pockets, this pocket and this pocket. And it's somewhat like svelte, which svelte helps you get back in the boat. Kayaking in it, I've been kayaking in it a bunch. It's annoying to me. It's kind of a weird size for me personally. I don't enjoy kayaking in it, but I teach rowing classes from a kayak. So even though I'm teaching rowing, I'm in a kayak. I don't love kayaking in it, but for rafting, it's great. One other note, a lot of you probably know I like internal knives. I don't like external knives. Because I have a radio here, I can't really access my knife quickly. It's just hard to get to it. I have one in there. I also have, the one that's right here. There's a knife in here that's really cool because it has that knife pocket. But I've been carrying an external knife just because I can't really get to this knife quickly. And the Maximus Centurion has a really nice placement. So it's one of the best placements. And it has this little flap of fabric over the top that covers it up so it doesn't get in the way as much when you're trying to get back into a boat. So anyway, I like this PFD. It's pretty comfortable, but it carries a lot of stuff. And so for those of you that want to carry a lot of stuff, this is a pretty cool PFD. Okay, anyway, back to the question. And you could remove, that's why I brought it up. The rescue harness here, like this whole thing comes off. Like it's actually super removable. And that's kind of a nice feature. There's like a little, I think the ladder lock is in there somewhere. And a lot of the PFDs, the rescue harnesses are removable. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So you can buy the high quality one and then just take it off if you don't want to do it. I know a lot of people that do that. Okay, back to the questions. All right, this is the next one. This is the last one. This is a great comment about the use of a rescue vest. Okay, the river's the White Salmon August situation. Stiletto kayak was pinned in the middle of the river, paddler washed out, and self-rescued to shore and was okay. We had no way to get a line to the boat due to very swift water. One of the team went to the opposite shore. We set up a 3-to-1 advantage and got a line across the river to him. He clipped into the ring on his rescue vest. The boat and the rock were higher in the water than he was, so when he jumped in to swim towards the rock, he washed downstream of the rock, and we used mechanical advantage to pull him upstream to the rock/pin kayak. So I'm just going to quickly comment. Pin ducky, middle of the river, whatever, pinned inflatable kayak, whatever you want to call it. I call it a ducky, middle of the river. And so my first reaction is honestly like, I don't know, let's just leave it. It's the white salmon, you can hike out. Like, if you can't get to it, my first reaction is like, leave it. And I also want to notice my other reaction is the other example I've been given last week. Steve sent me the example is also a ducky that got stuck. And so it seems like there's a pattern with inflatable kayakings getting stuck in a way you can't get a rope to them. I'm not hearing this about rafts. So if you're an inflatable kayaker, maybe it makes sense for you to have a rescue harness. Excuse me. It's in my throat. Maybe it makes sense for your rescue harness just in case you have a boat that's stuck in a really bad spot and you want to perform a dangerous task to try to remove it. Now, me personally, I'm not really that into performing dangerous tasks to remove equipment. If it was a person, I might think differently. But if it's just a stuck kayak, and also if it's on an overnight versus a day trip. So Steve's example last week, it was an inflatable kayak on an overnight trip. You kind of need your kayak. You're in the middle of nowhere. Your food's there. Your sleeping bag is there. I could see maybe like, okay, let's go save that thing because it's important. On the white salmon, you pinned a boat. It's stuck in the middle of the river. I can hike out. It's just a boat. I know it's a lot of money. I know they don't make stilettos anymore. You can't get another one. But how much risk are you willing to take to get that boat? And by putting yourself on a rope to your PFD, you're taking some risk. So I think that should be a question there. Anyway, I want to point out that both examples are to save boats. I haven't seen an example of somebody using a rescue harness to save a person. I would love if you out there had that example to send me so we talk about it. Okay, anyway, it worked exactly the way we planned, but took some time to work out how to get it done. The outfitters were not happy with us as they needed to take the right line around our recovery. But that was the standard line through that rapid. By the way, here's some photos. Which rapid is this? Okay, this is, I forget the name of the rapid. I don't think I know this. I think it's called Grasshopper or Corkscrew, something like that. The right line is not the standard line to the rapid for rafts. I'm sorry to tell you. I would be unhappy with you too. You got a ducky stuck, and then you decided to like block the channel with a rope for oncoming people. I would be annoyed too, honestly. Like, as another river user, you're holding up traffic. The right line here, there is a line to the right, but if they miss it for some reason, they're going into your line. So you've added a hazard to the river to deal with your stuck ducky. I mean, yeah, I'm not jazzed on this solution, honestly. Okay, anyway, what we learned: put the throw bag in a T grip of a paddle to increase your throwing distance. We struggled to get across the river for a while. Yep, that's common. Put a throw bag on the T grip of a paddle. I'm not sure what that means. On a narrow river, send someone way upstream to direct traffic. Yes, not even a narrow river. If you put a rope in the river, you have a responsibility. Not even a rope in the river, a rope across most of the river for sure. You have a responsibility to go upstream and have an upstream spotter. If you don't have that upstream spotter, you do not put a rope across the river. You just don't. If you don't have enough personnel, there's 3 of you boating, and you don't have enough people to do the rescue, unless it's a person. If it's for gear, if you don't have a spotter, you don't even think about it. Anyway, and keep them there. Yes, you need to have that spotter there for sure. Our upstream guy would get bored when no one's coming and wander back down to help. Yep, it's a common thing. Boaters would come up on us and be surprised, which is never good. Yeah, your dude can't get bored. And I have a kind of a mantra when there's rescues happening. The 5 things I think of. It needs a mnemonic. It doesn't have one. Is number 1 is stabilize everybody and count. Find everybody. Which you found the swimmer, you counted them, you stabilize it. Good. 2, you need to establish leadership. I'm guessing you had one person in charge. Hopefully you did, because multiple people in charge in a rescue is a bad thing. 3, downstream safety in case somebody falls out and swims, in case something on shore floats in the river. Like let's say you set your kayak on shore and it accidentally bumped in the river. Downstream safety would get that. upstream spotter. So it's one of the 5 things that you should send somebody upstream. Not even should you. If you have a river, a rope across the river, you have a responsibility to send somebody upstream. And then the last thing I would say is think about after or what's next. Like think about the aftermath. Anyway, so it looks like you did some ropey stuff and you found this guy who is a ninja who's willing to attach himself to a rope to go out there to tie onto the boat, and then you pulled it off. I mean, it's cool. Like you performed an equipment. I'm not going to use the word rescue here. You performed an equipment retrieval. You made a mistake. Somebody made a mistake and you got the boat out of the river. I just want to iterate again, and I know this might be an unpopular opinion because that's what I do on this show. I share my unpopular opinions, but they're my opinions. Then maybe you should have considered leaving the boat there and having somebody hike out. It was in such a bad position that you had to perform a somewhat, I think, I wasn't there, but I think a little bit risky maneuver to get somebody out there, right? And you also block traffic during a high traffic time. If outfitters are out there, it's a high traffic time. That means you blocked commercial boats, private boats, kayakers. The right line is not the line. It just isn't. So in terms of using a rescue vest, this is an application of it. I think I would question whether or not it should be done. And what I'm still waiting to hear, I've mentioned this earlier, I'm still wanting somebody to share a story of using a rescue vest to perform a rescue. And when I say rescue, a person, like actually saving somebody or helping a person, not just using a rescue vest to get a rope out to a stuck ducky. Okay. Probably tell my opinionated about this. And I am, because I ask this over and over and over. And there are so few examples of people using these harnesses in a whitewater environment because we have boats, right? We usually can just take a boat to do the thing. We don't have to attach ourselves to ropes. There's so few examples, but we all spend a lot of money. So we have this extra piece of equipment that hardly anybody's actually trained on, that we don't all even know how to use that well, right? And I know somebody's not trained. I see it all the time. Their tail on their, this is the dead giveaway when I'm in the field. The tail, this thing, when it threads through, I want to make myself big. This is how you can look professional, actually. You have this tail end. When you thread it through your tri-glide and your buckle, it should be about the size of your hand or smaller. Well, when it's 9 inches, 12 inches, I'm like, obviously this person hasn't even trained on it because they don't even know to cut that down. I'm not going to get into why or how or what, but like, I just see people in their fancy rescue harnesses all the time, and there's just like this long tail. They never took time to cut it down to a proper length to use it correctly. Okay, so that is that. That's my talking about rescue harnesses today. And I have nothing else for you all. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. If you have comments, leave them. I need to be educated by those of you out there that know better than me. So if you can tell me why we should have rescue harnesses, please do. Like I need to know better. And but in the meanwhile, I'm gonna keep sharing what I think might be an unpopular opinion, but it's my opinion. So again, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, do all the things. It's that time of year when there's more people watching the show and subscribers accounts going up, and it kind of boosts my ego. So if you are out there and want to boost my ego, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you probably in a couple weeks. All right, bye.